Nu jā, parasti mēs runājam par komunikāciju kā efektivitātes uzlabošanu, vai ne, par tādiem ļoti, ļoti konkrētiem trikiem un tādu ļoti racionālu zinātni it kā. Bet es jums tagad piedāvāju vienu īpašu soli spērt uz priekšu, un tas solis būtu virzienā dziļumā. Tad iet komunikācijas mākslas dziļākā izpratnē, kas ir saistīta tiešām ar varbūt arī tādām garīgām lietām, kas nozīmē, tās ir netveramas lietas. Komunikācija ir saistīta ar psiholoģiju, komunikācija ir saistīta ar mūsu bērnības traumām. Tā ir tēma, kas ir saistīta, kāpēc mēs aizveramies, kāpēc mēs negribam uzziedēt kā tādi ziedi un dot savai auditorijai un pasaulē lielāko vērtību, ko mēs varam dot. Un tāpēc es izveidoju tādu nelielu sarunu ar Swami Anahatu, kas ir Tantras skolotājs. Šī saruna gan būs angļu valodā, bet mēs tieši pieskaramies apzinātas komunikācijas dziļākajām vērtībām. Un man liekas, ja mēs izpratīsim daudz patiesāk un dziļāk to, kāpēc mēs esam tādi, kādi mēs esam kā cilvēki, kā mēs esam auguši un attīstījušies, mēs daudz labāk varēsim saprast tos mehānismus, kāpēc mēs tieši runājam tā, kā mēs to darām ikdienā. Man liekas, ļoti skaista, ļoti forša ideja ir tas, ko pauž Swami Anahata arī par vīriešiem, kuri aizverās, bet tajā pašā laikā mēs jūtam un redzam viņu acīs iekšēju kliedzienu, lūdzu palīdzi man ir nepieciešams atbalsts. Un kad komunikācija patiesībā nozīmē dziļu patiesu ieklausīšanos, un arī Swami Anahata arī runās arī šajā materiālā par to, kā iemācīties patiesi dziļi dzirdēt savu partneri, un arī par atšķirībām starp sievietēm un vīriešiem tieši komunikācijas jomā, vai vispār ir šāda atšķirība. Tā kā vēl veiksmi noklausieties šo materiālu, nebūs pārāk garš, apmēram 40 minūtes, bet ļoti, ļoti blīva informācija. So, okay, yes, thank you, Swami Anahata, for joining this session about communication. This will be a little bit different YouTube recording because, first of all, we are speaking in English, and second of all, it is a little slightly different perspective on the communication field because I'm speaking with a very, very, very professional, very nice, and very deep Tantra teacher, Swami Anahata, and I have been a part in his workshops. And Swami is teaching Tantra and relationships and deeper spiritual understanding of what is a relationship meaning. And today I'm very grateful that Swami is here with us to speak about this conscious communication idea, which is very interesting. How can we package this kind of thematic into the communication field at all? So, Swami, thank you once more. And what could be your first introduction about this topic about conscious communication?
Thank you very much for inviting me, and I feel honored to be serving some of the experiences and wisdom that really we experience in our daily life, because my own understanding is that every single day we relate to more than 50 to 60 people. We don't realize it, but like going to buy a ticket, having a coffee, and then going and seeing somebody looking into her eyes. This is all forms a part of communication, even though I don't use verbal communication. But bodily, we exchange signals, messages, and saying hello or I don't like you. What kind of clothes you're wearing? Or, oh, you look cool, you look sexy. These are all messages happening in a subtle way through our eyes and bodies. So I would like to bring a perspective about verbal communication and non-verbal communication. Because my own understanding is that in an intimate relationship where you are living in one apartment or one campus, whether it's a work situation or an intimacy relationship, after the honeymoon phase or initial phase is over, 60 to 70% thing is communicated through energy exchange, through eye contact, through moods, and all these things. So my focus would be how we can actually take ownership for what we are communicating non-verbally. That's what would be there.
Have you experienced also this, that you can, by changing attitude, by changing your inner posture, your non-verbal communication changes?
Absolutely. We are energy being. So before we make an action, our energy is already going towards the person through eyes and through our auric field. So our auric field somehow has like a 6 to 7 feet all around. So it depends what distance you are while you're communicating to somebody. That plays also a very good role. So I have experienced that even though my body language is stiff and strong, and I want to portray that I'm confident, but my voice and my eyes is saying, I'm actually right now looking for help, looking for support. So that I have experienced many times with people. So then when somebody communicating to me, I don't get offended by their body postures and stiffness and strength, because I teach a lot of men's work. And often I find men, they are in attitude like, I'm fine. But deep down their heart is screaming, can you talk to me? Can you help me? Can you really, really be with me? So that's what my experience is many times. So I listen to those more and get away with what they're saying and what they're trying to portray. Body feels comfortable in a mechanical way, like you eat same food, then it feels so relaxed. But if you keep changing the food, it tries to adjust to it. So sometimes we have a robotic mode of standing, robotic mode of like having a posture. So that's physical aspect of it. If somebody has done quite a lot of years that thing, so in spite of their doing anything, the robot takes over and then just bring that. That's one thing. On a mind level, which is like psychologically, it is basically when our needs were not met, when we were helpless, like as a child, when our needs were not met, the baby is screaming and then mother is not super busy, then it tries to close down the heart and tells, I'm going to take care of myself. I'm fine. If you're not coming, fuck off, I'm fine, like this. So that armor, the protection comes, and that protection is actually trying to show that I'm fine. I don't need anything. I'll take care of myself. So that's a psychological aspect which requires a lot of healing to go deeper and in the vulnerability and the feeling our need authentically. Now let's take the spiritual side of it. In a spiritual side, I am creating a duality and separation by this. This is you, this is me. And that way, I create a self-identity, a separate identification with myself, which basically allows me to live in the outside world. Because we cannot function in the way the system is designed outside if we become one. If we become one, which is our nature in spirit. So spiritually, we constantly create a duality to exist in a materialistic plane. So my own understanding is that when somebody does it, it has these 3 layers. The physical aspect, robotic patterns comes in, psychological aspect that I don't need anything, I'm fine, I'm enough. And spiritual aspect, I'm separate from you. So that's what happens.
Okay, great. Yes. But how do you do in your workshops? And I've been part of some of your workshops in Latvia, and they are totally like mind-blowing, and people are crying and people are opening up and they are taking away their defensive armor mechanisms. So what is for audience that have never heard about Tantra in your workshops, how you do it and why we do it actually?
First step, why they come to Tantra, it depends on the person where they are in their life. Some people have actually hit the rock bottom in their life, relationship breakups or sexual dysfunctions or something as emotionally like going through ups and downs, and or the wife has given warning, I'm going to leave you if you don't really change, or same vice versa. So some crisis, that is one important aspect people follow Tantra. And second is greed, that I want more from my life, from my sexuality, from meditation. So that's where they come from. So different person receives different thing, but my artistry or creativity is that bringing them together and giving a method or a practice that suits and fits to wherever they come from, what nationality they come from. So I have a set experienced, tested formula for my workshop. One thing is that body has to be fluid. So whole body energy flow has to happen from toes to head. So that is the number one thing. So I take 1 day or 1.5 days introducing a lot of practices. So our body energy starts to flow in the whole body like a fountain, up to down, down to up. That's number one thing. So wherever you are, we get stagnate in our armors and body. So the energy doesn't flow. And then we feel a little bit, our mind is screaming for that. So my work is the first to have a full body energy flow. When full body energy flow happens, we start to feel all the suppressed emotions. That's by nature. There's a defense mechanism that don't want to have energy flow, because if I have energy flow, I will feel all what I have suppressed. So then second stage becomes emotional fluidity, where I invite them for half day or one process where they express what they could not express in the past. So a lot of emotional release, screaming, shouting, jumping, kicking the floor, beating the pillow, making faces, all these things happen. Now the body and mind is ready, and then I take them deeper into the space of the heart. Your needs, your wants, your longing, desires, passions, motivations, all this comes in from the heart. So then opening the portal of the heart and express those things. So communications, talking to each other, where I am in my life, what is challenging for me, what are my gifts in life, those questions. They share with each other. Then a little bit of sacred theater also we bring it, that we play victim and perpetuator role, those things. And then last is silence, witnessing, meditation, connection to themselves, connection to others, and connection to the whole universe. So that's the most probably the blueprint of my workshops, actually.
And there's another like a huge topic besides the unblocking techniques is communication of females and males.
In Tantra, we work with duality. So if there's a polarities, then the magnetism and the spark of bioenergy is stronger. So somehow in the initial stage of Tantra, first few stages of, we create a strong polarity. So male become male, super male, and female becomes super feminine. So there's a lot of energy available to work on. If we don't create polarity, the energy is almost like neutral. It's not flowing. So therefore, in the first, in my workshop, we create a stronger polarities. So men become masculine and female become feminine. And that creates a spark, attractions, and the dance of polarity happens. And in that phase, a lot of work is needed because the polarities has been somehow removed in the modern society, in the modern context. As you mentioned in your workshop, you don't really use that. My own understanding is that this is one of the reasons that the sexual spark dies very fast, because when there is no polarity between male body and female body, the sexual spark is not actually heightened. So you see, when you come to Asia, you will see women are completely feminine. They wear feminine clothes, they are feminine role, they function like feminine, and there's a stronger differentiation. I do understand psychological impact of it, that polarity has actually created a lot of imbalance. So as long as we use it as a medicine in a healthy context, that is perfectly fine, because we need to use the same path where the wound comes from, or the healing also comes from the same doorways. It depends, are you using the same pathway for healing or wounding? So in my workshop, I use the same pathway where macho masculinity has caused a lot of challenges for feminine, but I use the same masculinity, but now we bring absolute presence, awareness to it. So the male can be completely male, strong male, but not the macho male. He is a present, awakened, strong, powerful masculine. Then female can communicate to the masculine all the wounds and patterns that she has received from ancestral line. Then we do some exercises which triggers the wounding patterns. So we ask them to look into the eyes, dance with each other, touch each other. So whatever we do, it will trigger the old traumatic patterns. Yeah. And then bringing a conscious communication between them. So she can actually verbalize, express, and bodily also express that what basically she's feeling. And this man is right now not representing a line of past men. He's representing here now because he is present. So he's here now. And now he listens to this feminine in a deep compassion and compassionate space that, wow, that happens to you. Wow. Oh, this really, really painful what happened to you. By just listening to it, a healing process starts between them and she starts to trust this masculine. And that's what we do actually, first step. Once she starts to trust the masculine, she wants to come closer. She trusts and she wants to be attracted. And he has a deep desire to protect her and to provide her and to give her what resources he has as a masculine gift. And he gives a positive, healthy masculine imprint there. She gives her sensuality, trust, both becomes empowered. That's second stage. So though both are empowered, and from that empowered space, you go into deeper space of meditation where you dissolve. And that's where there is no gender. There is no duality. You are one. You might actually remember sometime when a woman is laying in your arms and you're holding her by her side and suddenly everything disappears. There's nothing left but just a pure sweetness or energy left there. That's what oneness, I call tantric oneness, sweetness and nectar-like feeling where no movement, nothing happening, and that's both are slowly dissolving into this oneness. So that's what Tantra path is actually. So that's what you might experience in my workshop.
Wow, yes. I'm really trying also in my workshops to get to this deep listening, what you just touched, this topic, and it is very hard to teach listening because it's the beginning of the trust, as you put it nicely. So how can we develop these deep listening skills, which are so important?
Listening is equals to receptivity. So you see, the ears are one of the very feminine senses. It's a very feminine sense. Eyes are masculine. We go and we penetrate things and we dissect. Yeah. So that way, and you can close eyes very easily, even in the public space of me. But if you close your ears, people will see you are really, really doing something very strange. But you can close your eyes. So this is a very receptive sense to listen. So if somebody needs to listen, I would invite them to open up to receive. That's one thing. So receptivity, feminine energy has to be invited in listener. Most of us are trained to be masculine, most of the time. So when two masculines are sitting and in front of us, nobody's listening. So in spite of doing anything or exercise, I would invite one person to become feminine, one person to become receptive. And there are methods of it. You invite the person in a like yin gazing, look into the eyes and allow persons actually not to even look at any form or shape, but just being here and receive the gaze. That is very powerful way to be feminine. So I do sometimes eye gazing, even between man and man. And one person is receiving the gaze and one person is giving the gaze. So that happens. And then you ask the same person who is giving the gaze to speak. Another person's not only listens from the ears. Second thing is that visualize that your whole body has become a big ear. Like it's a big ear, you become one big ear. And now everything going inside your ears. So you don't listen precisely, you listen the energy behind it, the person is saying. Also listening to the tone of the voice, mood of the voice, and modulation of the voice, rather than the content. So content is only 20 to 25%. Don't pay much attention to the content. Pay attention to the modulation, tone of the voice, and the energy behind the voice, and you would always remember what the person was saying. Even though you cannot actually repeat it, what they said, but you would get it, what they meant. And the beauty of it is actually, whether the person actually listened to my content or not, but I feel heard. Just by that person receiving my energy, I'm penetrating that person and person is allowing me to penetrate. It's like an orgasm, same like sexual orgasm. So yeah, energy is going and the person receiving, I feel received, I feel heard, I feel seen, I feel understood. And that gives an orgasmic feeling into me. And I might want to hug, wow, it was so amazing to meet you. So that's what I would say, a very, very powerful way to allow people to listen. We are absolutely, absolutely one. And if we don't hinder the process of oneness, we will always understand each other. This is my understanding. Because we can focus on body system, I see you as a body and I see myself as a body. And we communicate, communication will be different. I see you as a psychological person, conscious person, and I see communication different. But when I see you as a soul, and you see me as a soul, and I remember this all the time, this is where we become one. So it depends on what level you are. Most of the problem comes on the middle path when we try to relate with psychological. Body is very clear. You are male, I'm male. Female is female. Body, it says very clearly. So then communication happens between male and female, and it has its own challenges. Because we are trying to create a bridge between these left hemispheres of brain and right hemispheres. That's what communication is happening on a body level. Psychological level, it all comes how your parents were, which country you are from, which country I am from, what my conditioning and belief systems are there. So of course, there's a lot of challenges and we don't understand each other. But when we come, that's why meditation becomes so pivotal to create understanding, create a beautiful, beautiful harmony and synthesis between man and woman. If man and woman are meditator, they deeply meditate together and then turn and communicate to each other. There is no way they don't understand each other. They will understand each other. So this is my understanding, but we have to understand first that if I come with overwhelmed with my physical reality, of course, I will be very defensive because matter, you know how scientists actually create all the research about matter, they dissect it. They break it into pieces and then they know the reality. Yeah. But spiritual mystics, they unite everything. Yoga is union. Tantra is union. We unite everything, the whole cosmos, and then we know the truth. So these are two different dimensions. So if you go into this dimension, you have to dissect everything. And then, of course, we are separate. So I'm telling you a spiritual aspect of it, but I can go in a very practical, pragmatic way what other teachers says about this or that. So they are talking about something, a very pragmatic, practical solution for the challenge. I'm talking about the ultimate solutions in that sense that ultimately, if you meditate, you have experience of oneness regularly, you bring that back into your relationship with woman and man, slowly, you will say there is understanding. There's a deeper understanding.
So as I understand, it is quite important also for males to open up their inner femininity, right? To be conscious of that in order just to also to open up the hearing process, the deep listening process, and to find out how we communicate actually with other party. And are there any tips and tricks? How can we improve and develop our communication skills, but like in some, like, you know, my audience really loves some short tips and tricks. They usually ask for some kind of bite-sized methods. Do you have some of them?
Yes, there are many methods, many practical ways. That first, to actually understand how male brain functions and how female brain functions. They are completely different. So once I understand, for example, when you're talking to a man, men are very single-pointed and focused. They can only focus one thing at a time. So when I am if I'm a woman, and if I'm talking to a man, and if I want to use a tip, I talk of one topic at a time. One topic at a time. So then I talk only precisely about that one topic and I go deeper into that topic. That's one thing. But if I'm not aware of it and I'm talking to a man, I talk about one topic and then go to another one, man gets completely confused and overwhelmed. They don't know what to do with this. So that's what maybe this guy was telling you, that when women don't understand how to talk to a man, they bombard him with 5 different topics, 5 different questions. So then you just accept and love them. But if I would be giving a tip to women in this call, I would say talk about one topic at a time and go deeper into that topic, and your man will be with you. If you're talking to a woman, become multitasking, become actually like she's talking to you. And then if I'm a man, I'm talking to a woman, I would not become narrow down like this. You become completely like vast, open and everything, and then talk. And whatever come, you ping, pong, all sides. Ball coming this side, you play this side. Ball coming this side, you play that side. So that awareness has to be there. That if I'm talking to a woman and I'm aware, she can throw the ball any direction. And I'm ready for it like a tennis player. Okay. So that's what I would give, like become a tennis player talking to a woman and become like a rifle sniper, like when you're talking to a man.
Wow, that's great. And do you have something for the improvisational techniques or some kind of spontaneity, like how to improve this kind of ping pong effect, that we are reacting? Well, do you have something on that also?
So in that, I need to show you, like for men, when you talk to a woman and you really want to give her a feeling that she's talking to a man, not talking to her like a hobo, don't know who he is. Then always center your awareness and attention and presence to your balls, your first chakra. So talking to a woman, and I'm just going to be a little bit more down in my body, and I'm just heavy. And I'm talking, and I become aware of my voice also coming from a deeper center rather than higher center. So that's one thing I always do. And then it becomes your habit. In the beginning, we had to practice it alone. Then with people whom you feel safer, you practice that. And then it becomes your second nature. So that's one thing for men. And for feminine, I would always suggest to talk from the either belly or the heart center. So if she talks from the heart center, so then you will see the voice become slower, because I feel a tendency in the feminine energy to talk so fast from here. So coming from the heart, slow, gentle, rhythmic vibrations going through the voice. So this is like short awareness. 7 days practice that. If a woman want to practice, then center yourself in the heart. And then whenever you speak, before speaking, bring awareness to your heart and speak. And for men, bring awareness to your genitals and then speak from that voice. And that would change a lot. Maybe try for 7 days. And then you see, after that, it becomes your nature. Immediately your attention going there, and you will see a miracle happening to the opposite person. So, wow, I feel so amazing talking to you.
Wow, this is amazing. Yes, I will definitely recommend this technique to my students also.
Yeah. So I can give an example, like I'm talking to you, like I go myself into base chakra right now, and now I'm talking to you from the base chakra. This is my voice when my focus and attention is on the first chakra. So you can see the voice and the pace and everything changes in that sense.
Do you use it also in your workshops?
Workshop, actually, my workshops are more energetic in that sense. So I actually don't use these precise techniques, smaller techniques, but I do include them as a one step of the meditation. So yes, I do include them.
Yes, very nice. And Swami, where can we find you? How those people who are listening to you right now can come to your workshops?
So the best way is to go to the website, swamianahata.com, and then you will find my essence. You would have some pictures, some videos and everything. So you can actually feel what it means when you hear my voice Do you feel invited, safe, relaxed with it, or how you feel? So that's one thing. And also to social media, I post many times something that arises in me to share. That's the best way. And I would say first go there and check it out a little bit. And when you feel like, wow, I really want to sit next to this person and just have a good time, then maybe you come to some of the workshop, checking calendar, and just see a meeting somewhere would be nice.
Yes, because I think every year you're coming to Latvia, right?
Latvia, yes. And this year I'm coming to Latvia in the month of August. And then we have the workshops there in Riga. I love Latvia because there are a few things that I don't find anywhere. The one thing is that Latvia is one of the countries where you can go out in the nature within 20 minutes. So after I teach my workshop, I can just pick up a car and 20 minutes, I'm in the absolute wild nature. So I can rejuvenate myself. So Latvia is that thing. This is not possible in any other capital in Europe. You need to go hours and hours to go out of nature. And second, I find the people are interested in authentic, true authority. Because it has been in the past that the authorities were actually manipulating or trying to really use that what was available as a resource there for their own benefit. So now when the true wisdom comes from somebody, I find they receive it very open-hearted. So that's where I feel received many times, because my passion is to bring truth. My passion is to bring this meditative environment there. And then when I do it, I feel very deeply received. So that's very, very good.
Yes, thank you, Swami. Yes, it was very, very nice. Those tips and tricks are very, very valuable. Good. Thank you very much for this day, for this meeting. I really appreciate that you had time to join us. And definitely, let's meet in August and in other your workshops in Latvia. And see you next time.
Thank you very much for inviting you and sharing your experiences about the way you work it. And I feel really inspired to sometime come and check out your way of doing the same thing that we're doing.